I'm Fiona Mackenzie, divorce coach, divorcee and would-be adventurer. Welcome to my 12 months of adventure. As you can see, it is absolutely tipping down. I'm at the start of the West Highland Way at Tyndrum. We're going to head up to Bridge of Orchy and then on to KINGSHOUSE. I'm not feeling as tired today as I thought I was going after yesterday. Yesterday was pretty tough going, but I don't feel as tired today, so that's good. So yeah, we're just going to set off and hopefully, it's only 21 miles today, so hopefully we'll make a bit better time than we did yesterday. There won't be too much bike carrying, I hope. I don't know how much more of that I can take, to be honest. How are you feeling?
Wonderful. Yeah, can't wait. Let's go.
Morning. Like heading down from, there's quite a steep incline up from Bridge of Orchy, and then we're coming, from Tyndrum, and we've just come heading down the hill towards Bridge of Orchy, which is a great little run. It feels really good after so much stopping and starting yesterday, so it feels good to get some actual cycling in. There's a couple of big cycling groups we've passed as well, so yeah, everyone's in, well, we're in good spirits, aren't we, Bryan? He's happy because he got some downhill stuff to do. We arrived at the Bridge of Orchy, where we'd intended on stopping for lunch. But because we'd hardly taken any time to get here, we only paused briefly to admire the scenery before continuing on to Inveroran. To get to Inveroran, you can either follow the West Highland Way up and over the hills, or if you're feeling lazy, you can scoot along the road. We stuck to the West Highland Way and headed up the hill, and were rewarded with incredible views and an exciting downhill cycle. How amazing is this? The deer are actually wild, but because the Inveroran Hotel put their scraps out for them, they've become fairly tame. Much to my delight. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, there you go. Oh, they're absolutely gorgeous. We'll just give them the whole thing. Scored. We continue on our way along wide and well-maintained tracks and lanes. The rain stays with us, but it's not long before the landscape starts to open up and we enter the wild and beautiful Rannoch Moor. This landscape reminds me of my home in Lewis, and despite the weather, there is very little not to love. So we're coming across the Rannoch Moor at the moment, and I have to say today's cycling has been a lot more enjoyable, like by about 1,000,000 times than yesterday. The weather's we've actually got a wee bit of blue sky just opening up there, and it's stopped raining and it's really quite calm, because I think Rannoch Moor can be quite difficult to cycle across because it's so open, so the wind can come howling across here sometimes. But fortunately we don't have that. There's some deer up on the hill behind us there. You can see the blue sky. It's just feeling a lot more positive. We're making a lot better time as well. We haven't been cycling for as long, so that's good, because pretty tired after yesterday's well, I say cycle, but yesterday's carrying efforts. That's really what wiped me out. But yeah, so today it's really quite spectacular with the views we're getting here. It's really opened up, and you get to see like sort of real sort of Scottish countryside, which is quite amazing and really peaceful as well. So with high spirits and with the weather improved, we take our time crossing the Rannoch Moor. We have a bit of fun and stop regularly to admire the wild landscape. I'm also delighted when Bryan proves that I'm not the only one capable of falling off my bike. Once we cross the moor, it's just a quick run down into Glencoe and the KINGSHOUSE Hotel. So we're just about to set off. It's a lot windier today, a lot colder, and we've got the Devil's Staircase to climb because this is the last day. We're going to head up to Fort William at the moment. It feels really cold today. We're managing to set off a bit earlier than we have the other days though, so hopefully we'll make it to Fort William in plenty of time. But I guess that depends on how we get on climbing up the Devil's Staircase with bikes and bags and everything. So yeah, it's supposed to be quite a good cycling day today, so that'll be fun, quite exciting. It may be cold and windy, but the scenery is spectacular. I always think that Scotland wears the wind and rain like a fine outfit that shows off its attributes to their best advantage. It never looks more beautiful nor more intimidating than when the rain clouds are clinging to its flanks. We skirt alongside the A82 for a couple of miles before veering off towards the much anticipated Devil's Staircase. It was given this nickname by soldiers in the 18th century, and as I start the ascent, I feel grateful that it's only bikes we're pushing and not heavy military equipment. So we've just climbed up, or hiked up with the bikes, the Devil's Staircase, which you can see is behind me. Now everybody talks about this, and I was expecting something like that it would be really steep drops and things like that. I mean, it is a bit of a grind to get up. I think maybe if you're a lowland walker, then you would probably find it quite difficult. But as a hiker myself, it's actually not that bad, and I thought we would maybe have to push the bikes up or carry them up, but there wasn't any point that I had to lift the bike up. So for anyone thinking that to get a bike up here would be tricky, it's not at all. I'll let you know how it is to go down the other side though.
For the mountain bikers amongst us, I'd imagine this section would be a bit of a playground. For me, even though it resulted in more falls, it also gave me the confidence to start hopping over those pesky drainage channels and even tackling some steps, something I'd been heavily reluctant to do up to this point. The wind and rain were pretty heavy here, so I apologise for the quality of the footage. I think there was actually even some condensation on the inside of my camera lens. It wasn't long before the trails opened up and we had a wide and sweeping descent into Kinlochleven.
So we've stopped in at Kinlochleven for a bit of lunch, and we've realised that it's about 1 o'clock at the moment, after 1, and we left at about 10:15 this morning. So and that's 9 miles, and then we've got another 15 to do over to Fort William. So we're quite pushed for time now, to be honest. We do sort of, well, I faff around a bit with filming and things like that, so that's taken up a bit of time. So I'm hoping that if we push on and I don't do so much of that, then we'll make it into Fort William before it gets dark tonight. But we'll see.
And so began the steep climb out of Kinlochleven, which in all honesty felt a lot more tiring than the Devil's Staircase. Although we probably didn't help ourselves by having such a big lunch beforehand. We were, however, rewarded with stunning views back down towards Kinlochleven.
Just stopped for a wee snack after hearing, well, it was a bit of a climb for about
Too long.
4. Bryan wasn't enjoying the climb at all. But we kept on going, even though there were a few discussions about turning back. We decided to keep on. And once we got up to like the 6 mile mark from Kinlochleven, it's been pretty much downhill most of the way, and it's been really great trails as well for the mountain bike. Brilliant for my confidence compared to what I was, you know, how I fell on the first day, and I fell on something absolutely ridiculous when I think about it now, but I was just sort of I wasn't experienced, and just panicked a little bit when my wheel moved, which I wasn't comfortable with. I'm so used to road cycling that, you know, anything like that just freaked me out. Now to today, just like absolutely, to me it felt like herring down those hills. I know I wasn't, because Bryan was steaming away ahead of me, but I was going pretty fast for my, you know, for my own comfort. But actually really, really loving it. And I'm thinking now that even when I get back from here, I'm going to go up the Pentland so that I can keep up these skills and just get better and better, because it's actually such an amazing thing to do. Not just the West Highland Way, but just mountain biking and being able to control the bike in that way is it's something that I've not ever experienced before. And it's really quite addictive, as I'm finding with all of these challenges that I set myself. I usually end up with some form of addiction to them, which is great. So I'm just expanding my horizons. But yeah, really enjoying it. The mood between from when we finished lunch and we're climbing up that hill to now is like night and day. It's been a great experience, something for me. Really got my mountain bike skills up, and just also mentally challenging, very mentally challenging in quite a few places. Brian's laughing. Brian's laughing because
I'm so done. I was getting a taxi home an hour ago.
So needless to say, we're feeling a bit better now. Yeah, but we've done a bit of trauma bonding, Bryan and I, on this journey. So I've just had my first flat puncture. Quite proud of that, actually. I've never had a puncture ever on my bike. Oh no, I did once, but it was when I was cycling to work on the road. But yeah, so Bryan is being a bit of a hero and changing out the tyre for me, the tube. Just for information, I do know how to do this, but he'll be quicker.
It was mostly plain sailing from there, besides a few stepped sections that even with my new bike confidence, I refused to tackle.
We finally reached the top before we run down into Fort William, the last sort of 3 or 4 miles. And it's so nice to be in this position now, to know that we don't have any more uphills, or very little, just small ones. Yeah, and that up there behind us, to the right there, is Ben Nevis. So happy to see her.
As we begin our descent, I can't help but feel a bit emotional. This is the longest challenge I've done so far, and as difficult as some sections were, the rewards were many. It won't be the last time I tackle the West Highland Way.